Regular meeting, January 21st, 2016. We'll start off the meeting with public comments. No public comments. No one coming to talk about maple syrup this time. Next on the agenda is review and approve minutes of the December 17th meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at them.
Yep.
I had to look at them today to update something for tonight's talk. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Excellent. All right. Trail walks. Next on the agenda is to talk about our 2016 trail walks. Now, to help our discussion a little bit, I take one pass it down, please. This is a map of the town. It's got all of our currently blazed trails on it. And I figured it would be helpful just to get an overall picture. Everybody can orient themselves to where they are in the town and everything.
Can anybody read these, or
You're the only one that can't
this?
read it.
Am I the only one that's too
Oh,
I can read it great.
you are not meant to read.
Oh,
You
okay.
can
Read
the
it.
text.
You can read it
I was
from
supposed to
this.
be able to see it.
It matches up with this very perfectly.
If you,
Oh, okay, there you go.
the general idea is just to give, because I know that the two of you are sort of new, and I figured it's helpful for everybody
Yeah, no,
to
it
see the
really
whole
is.
town
Yes,
with
it's
where
very
the trail
helpful.
goes in town at the moment. And you'll see there's actually, you could do almost a circle until you get over on the easterly side to try and connect down towards the southeasterly corner.
Which is that parcel?
And that parcel we're going to be talking about for the grant is
Yeah,
part of the addition here.
And the red as opposed to the blue?
Those are just the blazes on the trails.
Okay.
There's blue blazed, red blazed, yellow, orange.
Difficulty?
No,
No.
no.
Is that the old Indian Trail down south there?
In the southeast corner, that little red line? Yep.
Yeah, that's
That's the old Indian Trail.
the old Indian Trail.
That's Park Lane area.
All right. Well, we're trying to complete that loop eventually, right?
Well, the idea is to
Hopefully we
complete that
loop
on
down
the easterly side of the
the
town.
south side.
Yeah, the southeasterly corner of the town to try and connect the dots, so to speak. And that way we would then ultimately have a continuous greenway that you could start and just do a complete circle. That's Racebrook Tract down at the
Oh.
bottom.
Okay.
It is, the Park Lane.
This one down
So
here.
this is Park Lane.
Okay.
So you'll find Park Lane right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the Stop and Shop is
Okay, yep.
right down here.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's interesting.
So there's a big trail network in the Park Lane area. But there's nothing that connects from Park Lane
Mm-hmm.
down to the country club or there. Oh, no wait, Park Johnson. So country club is here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no trails that go through it at the moment. There could be trails that connect through the country club and then some street trails that eventually connect you down to Racebrook. If you wanted to make that connection from Racebrook tract up and through.
Yeah.
So at our last meeting, we talked about 2016 trail walks. Frank, you want to just give a quick heads up as to how the January you did a joint walk?
We had 31 people up the Bethany Lake there, and
And that was on January 2nd,
Second.
right?
that was it was a pretty nice day. It was cold,
Yeah.
but clear, and not real windy if I remember right. But it was pretty cold out there. At any rate, it's just beautiful hemlock row, and it was gorgeous. We could see all the drainage from the West River where it started. It doesn't begin there; it begins up above there.
Okay.
Someone notified us of that. One of the hikers did.
So that was up in it was up in Bethany near the dam.
It was up in Bethany, but the West River actually begins above Route 42 on the west side. But this was up in Bethany and just below Lake Bethany, and that trail is just fantastic. It took about I'd say 2 hours. It was a pretty long hike. It was more or less a loop, so we ended up right back where we started at our cars. And a lot of folks from New Haven. I think there was one lady from Woodbridge. There weren't that many people from Woodbridge. Brittany, and she came to our West River Watershed Coalition meeting. So it was a success for us because we got someone to join us at our another member for our coalition meeting. But it was a fun hike.
Excellent. So coming up in 2016, we tried to line up months and people. And in February, Lauren, you said maybe.
So a friend wanted to do a Hemlock Hollow one, so maybe she means is this trail here. Would this be it?
Hemlock
Hollow would be this one right here.
Yeah. She
So
said
it's
that
over
would
on the
be
west side of town.
She. What do you think about that again?
Looks good to me. It's
Depending on weather? I mean, I don't know.
It looks like a loop, so
So that would be good?
Yeah, that's good because you come
there are
right
two
back-
loops in there.
come right back to
Actually, there's three.
where we
but,
start off. What street is that?
Well, Hemlock Hollow Road and Beechwood Road
Okay,
off of Rimmon Hill.
right off of Rimmon. Okay,
yeah, it's
Off of
actually not
Rimmon.
an area that I've been to. Have you been on that?
That's my neighborhood.
I've never done that one. So
So you know that area well.
Yeah, I've walked that trail.
Is that a
hundreds
good
of times.
idea?
Yeah,
for
it's a
February?
good place. Yeah, depending on the snow.
On the weather.
If
I
there's
mean, I just safety wise, I don't want anyone to get hurt.
if there's a lot of snow on the ground, like if there's between 1 and 2 feet of snow that's fallen, it's not a good trail because it's not heavily traveled. I would say if there's a lot of snow around,
Then no,
Alice Newton would be.
better.
would be better.
Well, people go in there with snowshoes and
Okay.
it
Yeah.
gets packed down.
Well, and we'll leave it up to weather permitting. I mean,
Okay.
the conditions
And
for any of our trail
Yeah.
walks, it should be weather permitting. I mean,
Okay.
even Alice Newton
But-
Street, when we had 1.5 feet of snow on there, you'd walk and then crunch through, and it's
it's not worth anyone getting hurt. I mean,
Well, you probably won't get a great turnout if it's.
or
yeah.
no one
Like
coming.
that, too.
Yes, okay.
So how
That's a good
Get the
trail.
skiers.
It's not
Okay.
very
Not steep,
hilly.
not hilly.
yeah, the only
No,
thing you'd get
no,
is
there's a couple.
snowshoers or skiers at
Yeah,
this
that
section,
sounds
but so
great.
we're not going to do that.
Okay.
Hemlock Hollow.
So, do I publicize this somehow?
Betsy will be able
We'll
to.
work together.
Great.
She'll be able to put it up on the
Okay.
town's website and email
Terrific.
blasts for us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do you have a date, a preference on that Saturday or Sunday? It's that first weekend.
On a
So
date?
I'm looking at the calendar on the wall over there.
Yes,
Hmm.
the calendar, that says January.
So
Okay,
it's 6 or
February.
7.
Yes, so they're both bad. Saturday, probably, the 6th, is less bad.
We like less bad.
Oh, well, actually, can I make it any time I want? Like, doesn't have to be in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking it had to be in the morning.
No. It's up to your discretion.
You
like-
Weather permitting and
Weather permitting, and if I can make it any time I want, that would be great. Like, I could do noon on Saturday.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
make a
sounds
picnic out of
So
it.
this is it, this
it's
one right
noon.
here, Frank?
It's the red one on the far west side.
Right here,
Oh,
right here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, this
It's a loop, so that's
Hemlock
nice because we
Hollow.
can end up right back at our cars.
okay.
Yeah.
well, I might change that time. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Now I'm,
And it looks like it's maybe 3/4 of a mile loop or so.
okay.
Yep.
Is my guess.
I'm talking an hour and a quarter maybe.
Depending
Okay.
upon how big of a group it is. And
How
That
fast
would
we
allow
move.
an hour and a half. You could probably
Hour and a
do
half,
it.
yeah.
It depends on
how,
which.
how fast we move.
Well, there's like 3 different loops you can do.
it depends if you get
The,
lost.
the small, the shortest one only takes about,
Great, this is fun. I love
25 minutes.
talking on TV.
but the middle one is probably like 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah, we
No,
want to.
now with no snow or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
me by myself. So with a group, it might take. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the
25,
weather
20 more.
kind of holds the way it's been, and we may not have that
Yeah,
much
cold
snow.
and dry would be good.
Yeah.
Frank, you had signed up for March, doing Elderslie Preserve.
Yeah, we'll do March.
Yeah, Tim, you were going to do April,
Mm-hmm.
and you were still deliberating as to what trail.
Yeah, I
you-
hadn't picked out a trail
Okay.
yet, but I have myself down for April. And we do it the first week.
First weekend of the month. Yep. Julie, in May,
Mhm.
Alice Newton Street Park. I did contact the Orange Conservation Commission for doing a joint walk in June for the Connecticut Trails Day. So we'll hear from them. Hopefully we'll join forces and do Racebrook Tract again. July, August, and September are currently open. I was going to do a walk at Massaro Farm in October. And then Lauren, you were going to double up again, but that's far enough down the road.
Okay.
We'll keep it in pencil.
Great, that'd be great. Thank you.
And then if anybody wants to jump in, we haven't heard from Tom. Maybe Tom will want to take in a walk July, August, or September. September's always a tricky one. It is Labor Day weekend, and August can be weather-wise oppressive.
Maybe we could do a later weekend or something like that,
Later in the day.
rather than Labor Day.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm,
do it
okay.
a week later, or middle of the month, something like that.
All right. Perfect. So it sounds like we're still on track. And again, I just wanted to share this overall map with everybody. If you would like to read the street names, I could share this to you, and you can zoom in on it on your
Okay.
computer.
Let's
And
hear it.
Okay, good. Because I can't see. Yeah.
the idea is just to give you an overall.
Yeah, no, I could probably also get it, but that's okay.
But yeah, I can give you this, and that way you can
Okay,
scroll around and find our house and
okay.
your house, and our neighborhoods. All right. Anything else about trail walks? We're good.
So we had Hemlock Hollow, then
Elderslie,
Elderslie.
and then Alice Newton Street, and
Okay.
then probably Racebrook.
All right. So I'll have to pick something else. Maybe down
We got
the
Park.
Darling House.
We got Park Lane. That's right. We got the Bishop Trails.
Excuse me?
Alice and Newton here.
What are these ones
Oh,
called?
elderly is
No,
So the
Alice.
ones that run across the
Allison.
yeah, Alice Newton's the most colorful one in the middle of the
Oh.
map.
This,
Oh,
They have the
Right
most variety of tree paintings.
oh, good.
That's the one with all the different.
The yellow and the orange and the
right
green.
there.
The green is actually
Yeah,
in the
that's-
northern
That's
end.
the one. Yeah, you're right.
But Lauren had a good question. The trails that run along the northern side of town, that is the Bladensbrook, Russell Swamp, and Round Hill. It runs almost parallel with the border of Bethany.
oh yeah.
And Round Hill is the highest point in Woodbridge.
So that might be pretty for April.
No,
bad idea.
it can be, well, no, it can be
Yeah.
wet and mucky.
Oh, wet.
There is a long.
That section is kind of,
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all.
so in the spring it might not be, that would probably be a good, like, July, August.
Okay.
Yeah, they
It's
have a lot
dry.
of walks over the swamp through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's off of Seymour Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a summer one, I think. Yeah, it could be slippery.
Yeah.
The Park Lane could be interesting. Could also be slippery, but if we had had good rains, the stream that runs down past the old mill in that area could be interesting. But plenty of time to figure that one out.
Yep. All right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, next on the agenda is the discussion about the deep open space and watershed land acquisition grant that we are hopefully going to apply for. I say hopefully because we're still waiting on appraisals just to make sure that the financial figure actually could work in one way or the other for us, that it's not way off from what the owner's expecting to see and it's not beyond what we can afford with the money that's in the open space fund for the town. I did circulate the draft around. Lauren, thank you for your edits that are in here. I contacted Deep today on a couple questions about the grant. One is that, is the deadline going to get pushed out from February 2nd? It is not. In prior years, there have been times where they pushed it out another month. This year, they're sticking to it. I asked if there's any flexibility on 2 appraisals or 1 appraisal at the point in time we submit the grant. I was told that we must have the 2 appraisals because the anticipated value of the property will be north of 100,000. So that requires 2 appraisals according to the grant. Betsy, I had raised a flag on title searching, and I was informed that it's not required for the grant application, which is nice. The big thing that they're looking for are any encumbrances on the property. Encumbrances could include rights of way or easements. And as far as I understand it, it's been owned by the same person
I
for a
don't believe
long
there's
time.
anything.
So the chances of any fiscal encumbrances, I would be surprised at. And rights of way and easements, there's no power company going through there, just the West River.
Yeah.
And the last question that I had for the gentleman is that there was a stipulation about, what was the term they used? A letter. It came under the title of, is there a willing seller, a purchase and sales agreement, or a letter of intent? And I was told that the letter of intent is sufficient, and the letter could indicate that we are in positive negotiations with the landowner, and it has to be signed by the landowner. So that's something that we'll need to get over the next week.
I have to make an appointment with Mr. Nugent again. All right.
Yeah. I was told that a letter of intent reduces the overall score for the grant application, whereas a purchase and sales agreement is pretty rock solid, so that ratchets up the score for this particular measure of the grant application. But I think in general we have a pretty strong application to begin with. So,
Is it possible to get a purchase and sales agreement that would be contingent upon the grant? Because you know how when you buy a house, it's, you have
Right.
to have it inspected.
yeah,
You sign an agreement prior to the inspection, and if that doesn't work out, you can back out of it.
Before February 2nd? Before February 2nd? I mean, is he that ready?
is that? I mean, the last discussion we had, he was ready.
He's willing. He's ready and willing.
As long
I
as
think.
as long as the price was right, he was ready to move ahead. And it would certainly, firm up his commitment to moving forward on this. But maybe Betsy, you and I can have a discussion and then see what we can do. So other than those particular things, we've got 2 appraisals in the works. We've heard that they're on target. Hopefully that means we'll see them before February 2nd and not on February 2nd where we scramble and assemble everything last minute to get it postmarked. Were there any thoughts about the grant application? Just in general? Any comments that you've got?
I thought it was very comprehensive as far as what I know. I mean,
Yeah.
really. So I thought it was, it included everything that I so far understand about what we need. So I don't see that there are any holes in it that they can.
As long as it was cohesive and sensible and
Yeah.
wasn't rambling.
Right.
The last
I
thing we
think
want to
it's
have
pretty-
is a...
pretty straight to the point of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, the last thing you want to have with a grant application is one that gives them 10 pages of rambling
Right.
notes. Having reviewed things before, I just get to the point.
Yeah.
It's usually how I approach it. There are a number of maps, and fortunately most of those maps I'm able to pull from the GIS system from the town's website. So aerial maps with the boundaries marked, general property maps, an overall town map with the parcel indicated. So it all worked out pretty well. I think we're set for the maps. We do need to get a copy of the current deed from the town hall.
You want me to do that?
Could you? That would be
Uh-huh.
helpful, yes. Public access, we need some minutes. Letters of support. Frank, you had mentioned that you
Yes.
were working on a couple.
I did, and I have one coming from Connecticut Farm for the Environment, and the other one from our watershed coalition partners. So
Excellent.
I should have those within the next few days.
Very good.
I requested those too.
Yeah, the letter of support will be definitely helpful. I need to just reach out to the Land Trust Parks Association. Something else that made me think about it in my discussion with the gentleman at Deep today, he reminded me that there is the park association that's in charge of West Rock.
Yeah, I contacted those people about the right to refusal also.
Yeah. And they might be willing to throw in a letter of support because that state park does have interest in abutting parcels and making it accessible to the public.
When I communicate with this fella, he's supposed to be getting back to me.
Yeah.
I'll ask him about that also.
That would be great.
Yeah, he's
Because
from
they
the
are-
West Rock State Association.
Because they are an independent organization. They're not part of the state. I mean, the state appointed them to oversee the park, at least as I understand it.
Right, that's right. There's quite a few, and then there's a.
So there's a lot of fingers in West Rock.
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of people
involved.
in there, yeah. And then there's an advisory committee, and that's what I'm on, the advisory committee. Okay.
But yeah, definitely when I mentioned that this grant application, when I was talking to Deep today, when I mentioned West Rock, his ears perked up. He says the state has strong interest in that area.
Yeah, we'll be talking with those people then very shortly, because I just got an email back from them.
Good. Very good. So we do have a week to finish assembling it. Oh, project title. I'd put this title in here and I looked at it again today and I thought, that seems awfully strong, misleading, I don't know. I'd put the project title down as the West River Greenway Trail Extension, but
It should be maybe the Woodbridge Greenway Trail Extension? I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Woodbridge does seem a little more appropriate. Less. When I wrote that down, I must have been focused on the West River Greenway.
Well, we are, it is going to be, it will be part of the proposed West River Greenway.
Yeah.
When that's completed. But that's going to be a while to be, from the Sound all the way up to Bethany. That's going to take.
Could we call it the West River Woodbridge Greenway?
Yeah, it should have Woodbridge. I was thinking that, the Woodbridge West River Greenway.
Something of that sort, but if we could shorten it, yeah. It really is pretty much along that, it's going to follow pretty much along the West River.
And that's really the big selling point. There's the West River and West Rock right on this parcel.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. And
So the Woodbridge West River Greenway Trail Extension?
yeah,
that's good.
I don't
That's
think that's too bad. Yeah, why not?
If it fits in the box, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you run out of letters. Right?
Yeah, don't leave Greenway.
I mean, it really
But do you
puts
want
everything
the
together
trail
that we're trying to
extension
do.
out? Like, does that matter? Doesn't Greenway kind of imply that we're,
But it's connecting, somehow you have to,
all right, so we
you
better,
have to.
But it's an extension though,
Yeah.
because right now we have
because like here it says.
the Woodbridge Greenway. Well,
Completing
we
the
have to
town
extend that
greenway.
south.
Yeah, so leave it in.
All right. All right.
I mean,
That's-
Woodbridge is right here in the sponsor in the next one anyway.
Yep. All right, as long as there wasn't any strong, it's not.
No,
All right, that's
I
fine.
can't think of anything better.
yeah.
Keeping it simple is always preferred.
It's
for-
descriptive, if someone reads the name of the project, it's pretty clear.
And I have to thank Tony Genovese for sending along prior grant applications, because I lifted some content from those that was helpful. Minutes. All right. Well, I think we're on track to actually do a real submission, so long as the appraisals don't blow us out of the water and the owner throws up a roadblock at the last hour. I think we got a strong application, and hopefully it goes through. Okay, next on the agenda, our 2003 open space plan. I printed a copy.
So did I in my bedroom.
The copy that we have is a PDF file, which means we can't edit what we have. And the PDF file, as you go through it, you might notice that there are handwritten remarks in various places on some of the pages in there. This is my intent is to turn it into an editable document so we can make clear revisions to it and begin the process of cleaning up a little bit. This has many pages of lists of properties in here. Those lists need to get updated because this was 13 years ago. This was done. And the original intent was this plan would be reviewed and revised every year. So we're a little overdue.
I'll say.
Fortunately,
Slightly.
and I've read it several times over the years now, I think on a whole, it's still good. I think it's still solid. It's not as though we're going to throw the whole thing out the window and start fresh. I think we can start with what we've got, update some lists. There are some properties in here there's a section, open space worthy of preservation, and it sort of gives some bulleted lists indicating reasons that the parcels are of interest. I think it would be good to go through and review those, maybe make visits to the properties to better understand what they're referring to in here. And just take a first swing at getting it cleaned up. Not giving it a major overhaul, but I think probably in the first half of 2016 we can at least get through this so that we've got an editable document with correct lists and some wording updates. So what I would like to do, I actually ran this through some software that turned it into text. I'm sure it's
What does it exist as now?
just a
PDF.
just
Like
a
a
PDF, which
Yeah,
is just a bunch of
can't edit
images.
Yeah,
So I ran it through some optical character recognition to turn it into mostly text.
yeah.
So what I can do fairly quickly is a lot of copy and paste into a new format that we can edit. If I could then pass it to somebody for proofing.
I can prove it.
You want to proof it? Excellent. And then once we've got it proofed, then tackling the lists of properties in there and comparing them with the lists that
We have.
When we were going through and doing the update to the plan of conservation and development, we went through lots of property lists. And I think those are the most recent ones. And starting with those and comparing them to what's in here will make some immediate cleanup for us in some really positive ways. And we can have that as part of an agenda item at a future meeting, because cleaning up the lists. Please do go through and review it. There might be parcels that are not in here that need to get added as well. Times change, interest in town change. So there might be other parcels that are available or could be available, or just in general, they're open and people would love to see them open. They're not in the plan, and they should be. So those are my thoughts on the open space plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan for the plan?
Yeah.
Has anybody else gone through it to have any?
Not yet. No, I didn't get a chance to go through that.
I looked at it. It looks like we're, we've been trying to accomplish. As far as the properties, I don't know all the rest of the properties that we've acquired since these are the ones that are listed here. So
Yeah.
that's something we have to update, I would imagine. But other than that,
I thought that was mentioned.
whoever put it together did a pretty good job as far as the goals and what.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that there's a handwritten note on the bottom of one of these lists about Nassaro. And at that point, it was life tenancy. That was before John finally passed away. So,
I believe they said they were looking for 15% of the town to be open space. I think we're over that now, aren't we? Or
if you include land trust, parks, town property, state property, and water authority, we are above 20.
yeah, so we really have. As far as the goals were, we've actually exceeded the goals that were in this plan. So I think that's pretty good.
As long as the water authority doesn't decide to chunk off a big piece and sell it to a developer, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hurdles for the water authority to do something like that.
And typically, that's
I
not
don't
what
think
they
that's going to happen.
do either.
No. I think the fear of that is unfounded. All right. So, Lauren, you'll help me out. So I'll tackle getting this into an editable format. You can do some proofing, and maybe at our next meeting, we'll take a look at some of the lists. If not, our next
Split
meeting,
them up.
the meeting after.
Okay.
For us to work on, or
We might literally just sit here as a group with all the
Oh.
lists in front of ourselves and go through
Work
it.
through it.
Or if somebody would like to take a first swing at these lists, after I turn it into a document that can be edited, does one of you want to compare lists and take a first review?
What list?
Where is the updated?
where's the comparison, or where's the updated information?
We
located?
Well, I've got some Excel documents that came from working with Coupop.
Mhm.
Coupop had some lists that
Mhm.
were, I think those were sort of the core of what got into the POCD. So I can provide those lists along with these lists, and I mean, they're grouped into categories: land holdings by the town of Woodbridge, holdings of the land trust, and it includes acreages and any descriptions. But if someone wanted to try it, I could certainly help you get started and give you some source material to work on.
I'm happy to do it. I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know if I could be any help. Is it?
I can help you help me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
How's that?
I can lend a hand too.
Okay.
Doing that too, because it sounds like the type of thing that if we could do it outside a meeting, it
It
would probably
would-
be
It would be
best.
much better because
than to sit here and
Tim
spend
and I
time.
will do it.
the
Yeah,
lab,
I'll help you do it.
Yeah.
it's a little more flexible to be able to have that done so that not all of us are
then it
sitting
would
here
just
staring
be
at
some,
lists.
minor
Yeah,
for a
corrections
half
or
hour.
Yeah,
whatever.
it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like
That makes sense.
productive way
That
to.
does make sense.
All right, and then if we get stuck, we'll call you.
Yeah,
How's that?
and then we'll review it here and
Make
talk about the
corrections.
revisions.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, perfect. And I think just those three things: edit, proofing, and updating the lists. It's going to be a huge step forward for us. Thank you. And now we're down to the last item on the agenda tonight, the chairman's report. I only have 2 items to report on. One, and I didn't get the formal letter, but I did get a call from Robin. She has taken an appointment on a different commission, and she's not going to be able to do multiples and still keep track of her family. So she's going to be resigning from the Conservation Commission. Sad to see her go. Robin was able to help us line up some appraisers most recently for getting the work
Mhm.
done for the grant. So it's been great to have Robin's thoughts and experience and advice on things conservation related. So sad to see her go,
Well,
but it
miss
sounds
her.
like
Yeah,
she's looking forward to her next appointment. So
What's that, do you know?
is it the Amity Board of Ed, I believe it is.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So with kids in the schools, it's definitely something near and dear to her heart, I'm sure. So it's a farewell to Robin. So we'll have a new appointee coming in. And the other item is 31 Enoch Drive. For those that don't know, this is a parcel on the northern part of town near Round Hill. And since Lauren's got the map, I can actually make a note of it. So, let's see, Round Hill, Enoch. So the town owns Apple Tree. The town owns a
up top.
parcel right here. It's got a long leg that comes off of it. It's about 8 acres, and it was purchased for the purpose of preserving the greenway because the trail, and on here, it's this section right here. It's a little squiggle, and it runs along the edge. The trail runs along the northern edge of Enoch Drive before it comes down to Route 63. As it goes in and out of that town-owned parcel, it goes onto private property. And there's no right-of-way on that private property for a trail. So people are using the trail, and the landowner doesn't mind as long as they stay on the blazed trail. The trouble is, the official right-of-way is right where the gas line is. So technically, people are supposed to be using the gas line. But that's his front yard. It is quite literally a mowed lawn. It is approximately 100 feet from his house, wide open. It is not, if you were to stand there, and those of us that have walked that trail, you know it does not look like a trail. It looks like somebody's front yard. So what we're trying to do is get the official trail that's currently blazed on a map and on the property maps, both 31 Enoch Drive and also the abutting property owners, get it on their parcel maps, and getting a proper easement put in place to protect the trail as it stands today. So I met with Jerry Gilbertson and Bob Triscola, the town engineer, and Terry is the town planning and zoning, because Bob is going out and actually doing the mapping for us and getting these trail marks actually put on the properties so that then we can put the proper easements in place. And then the next follow-on part to that discussion is there is interest of dispossessing of this property. Conservation did have the conversation about a year ago about this property and whether or not the town should or should not sell it. And I have a feeling that we'll come back to that discussion again. But all of that discussion of selling got put on hold once we realized there's no protection of the greenway up there. And without a guaranteed protection of the greenway as it stands, there's no way we should consider selling it. You know, we've got something right now that protects part of it. So we got that. So let's hold that and then fix what's wrong and then come back to the other discussion.
Well, we have to keep the greenway no matter what. I mean, we could sell it and still have the greenway as a right-of-way, or however that works.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, there's a possibility that that can be done. It's not really a pristine parcel. I mean, it's really steep, and it's not some of our best
All right,
open
it's
space
8
from
acres
what
of
I
this.
understand. Yeah.
And there's
It's,
one
I'm
building
not sure
lot.
how successful the town will be selling that, actually, right?
Well,
if-
it's costing the town to maintain it. That's the
I
unfortunate-
understand that, but I mean, they have to find someone who's willing to buy it.
Right, and it also has to go for a referendum for the whole
Right.
town to review
Oh,
before anything would happen.
before it would get sold. So there's a lot of discussion in town that would have to happen before it even reached the point of going up. And if it did go to a referendum, then it would be the town coming out and deciding whether or not to sell the open space. So we'll table that part of the discussion. I just wanted to mention that I did meet with Terry and Bob to properly mark out the blue trail as it crosses in and out of the private property so that we can put the proper protections on the trail as it stands today, irrespective of whether or not
We do have an easement though, but the easement is not in the proper place from the way I understand it. Is that correct? Right.
Correct.
So now we're trying to,
Protect the trail where it is and not,
right. And it seems like the neighbors would want to agree with that because it's not going across their lawn anymore, so it seems like the most sensible thing for everybody.
it really does.
Okay.
Yep. And from what I had heard from Terry, it sounded like the abutting property owners very happy to have this being
Now
done
we
because
okay.
there have been people that, well, Terry asked, how do you access this trail, this part of the trail? And I said, well, you can park on 63, but that's a pretty high-speed road, and to
Yeah.
pull off the road, you need to go over a curb and onto uneven ground. Or you park over on Newton Road, but again, there's no easy parking on the side of the road. Apparently, people have parked at one end of this private owner's driveway, walked past his house across his yard to get to the trail.
Well, that can't be making him very happy.
Oh, so he was not happy about that. So I don't blame him for that. But he's glad to have proper signage and protections and keeping people on the trail where the trail is and not going through his front yard. So, as we've said, it's in his best interest, and he even sees that, that it would be in his best interest to have this protection in the right place. With that, I have no further business,
I have two things I'd like to mention.
but that's the issue.
I'll be quick. One is I've mentioned to you in the past I've been working with Scrog they're updating the regional trail maps for all of the 17 towns or 15 towns or however many it is. And I was contacted today asking if I have any up-to-date photos of trails. So they'll be putting photos when possible on the maps of spots of interest or just maybe an overview of the trail. So if any of you have trail photos and you can identify which trail it is, please let me know. The other thing is I'm trying to organize an Earth Day celebration for the town, and I'm looking at Saturday, April 23rd. Earth Day is Friday the 22nd. My thought is that since we already have several groups in town that do spring cleanups on a yearly basis or occasionally do spring cleanups, my goal is to get them to all do their cleanup on that same day. We'd meet maybe here at Town Hall or over at the library, have a brief celebration, and then everyone could go out and do the areas that they already do. So I wouldn't be, taking over their event. They'd still be cleaning up the area. I know the Parks Association often does a cleanup over at Alice Newton. Sometimes the Boy Scouts do things. Rotary has done different things. So since we have so many environmentally minded groups doing environmentally themed events close to Earth Day, I want to bring them all together to kind of celebrate all of the work that's being done. So very early stages right now. But
Good time to start, actually.
well, last year, if you remember, I tried to start way too late.
Yeah,
So, and I think April's going to be a really tough month. I know there's the Rock to Rock event, spring break, so there's going to be a lot of conflicts. And I've picked a date which is imperfect, but all Saturdays in April are highly imperfect. So hopefully it will work for some people.
Great.
So
I probably have photos for you from trails.
great.
And you did mention Rock to Rock, so Massaro participates in Rock to Rock, and
That's April 30th.
Yep, and they do a cleanup day, and it's usually a couple weeks ahead. But I'm not sure if it might be able to land on.
It does not.
No.
I think it's the first weekend in April.
Okay.
Do you guys keep clean and then clean?
Clean and
Just don't come to the celebration part and pretend we're going off to do something afterwards.
we could do a half-hearted clean the first time around and do a little more the second time.
On the cleanup day, can we do a walk that day too? That's too much to do. Because we need an April walk day.
He's able.
That's probably too much to do
Okay.
because
It could be a walk. It could be a walk and clean.
Well, like,
if you
how they
pick
do
something
on the
goes along
side
the
of the
road.
road. I do it in my neighborhood. I walk
Yeah.
around and clean up the trash. Well, I do.
We need to do
That's
something
it.
for the environment.
Forgot.
For the environment.
What?
We need to do an environmental project,
Yes.
sort of like
Right,
planting or a planting of a
Oh,
tree
that
or
would be
something
good.
of that sort, yeah. They may be doing some plantings down at the Honolulu Dam by then, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So
Oh.
maybe we could join them and do something like that. You know, April sounds like the time when they're gonna be doing that, so if that comes up, I'll let you.
I'm
folks
with
know.
you. I mean, I think that it's an opportune event, or opportune time to have something sponsored by conservation.
Or even if you guys wanted to come and talk about the walks that you're doing, that might be, I mean, it's still very early stages and it's also going to be very, very simple because I'm the only one doing it. So it's setting the bar really low for this first time. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to have you guys there. I'm still trying to figure out for groups that don't already have a cleanup that they usually do, how to figure out, how to get people involved so they don't just kind of stand around. I want people to feel engaged and like they have something to do, but I don't know off the top of my head where all the trash will be in April.
Kind of a trailblazing party. Send people into the woods with cans of paint. I'm not suggesting we do that
No.
randomly. No.
Graffiti in the woods.
All right.
So that's it.
Thank you, Betsy. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
There we
Let's
go.
go home. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.